My name is Brother Enoch, aka NOC. I'm from Inglewood as well, as far as where I was raised, and my cousins live in Cabrini Greens, so we would go to the Greens, and that's when I first heard hip hop. I grew up listening to music a lot around my family, but I think my transition kind of came from me making a decision. I had just finished the first year of high school at CBS, and it was towards the end of my freshman year, and I decided that I hadn't had enough. I'm about to run away from home. And when I ran away from home and made that decision, I experienced things that I had never experienced before. You know, sleeping on park benches, you know, not having no place to go, so you riding the trains back and forth, going from family member's house to family member's house. This is like during my whole high school career. A lot of people didn't know that I was going through that until I just settled to, you know, stay with my grandmother, and you know, and basically all during that time I didn't have a lot of parental supervision. So I hooked up with guys who was deep into house music, guys who were producing music, and guys who rap. And so when I first got connected with music, I was part of a crew at my high school, and we actually won a couple of big contests and had WBMX. I kind of dating myself on that one. WBMX. We had this producer named Frankie J and some other guys. They came and said, "Man, we want to do something with y'all group," and we actually got a record contract from Sunset Records in California to you know, offer us something. I started working with other artists. You know, I started working with everybody from Prince Akeem, D.A. Smart, No ID when he first did Common's first album. I started being in the studio with him and Doug Infinite, and just a lot of other artists that were really doing the work, hanging out with Creators Way, Twister, Do or Die, just different people. And I began seeing the value of not only the music, but the business side of it, because a lot of us had talent, but we didn't have the business side. So I began actually doing more of the business side. I started off as a booking agent, you know, helping to book us as a group, and then I started doing it for other people. And so my whole process just went like that for years, just evolving, so I became more well-rounded, where it just wasn't the artist aspect, but it was artist as well as business. Hip-hop detox came as a result of, you know, I was always, for years, a community grassroots activist kind of person. I had a lot of different people in the community that influenced me, whether they were part of the Black Power struggle or considered Black nationalists, civil rights group leaders and activists. I had a lot of different influences. So being an artist, I always thought to myself, well, we could use our art form to uplift people, to empower people, to make it where you know, they could become more conscious. So that was, of course, the influence of KRS-One and Public Enemy, and you know, all those different type of artists that really represented the 5 elements of hip hop, the culture of hip hop. You know, and even those who were considered quote unquote negative, I learned a lot from Ice-T and Ice Cube and NWA, and you know, a lot of artists that people say, well, man, they said this and that, but they still was dropping something. So because I came up in that time period, it made me want to do more than just, oh man, I can spit a rhyme and I can say this and that. It was more of, man, we need to do something with this, so that after they hear this song, it may trigger some thoughts and some actions to make them want to be better and do better in a society that's increasingly becoming anti-us and anti-human. You know, we define hip hop as being truth without boundaries, and the detox is to remove the poison. And so we put both the best of both worlds, so to speak, together, with all the empowerment and the different things that we've learned over the years. We put that with the culture, put that with the music, put that with the art form, so then we can produce the type of curriculum and methodologies and practices that people couldn't deny. Okay, this works. This is something that's needed. It's substantive. And it just came over a period of time. So after we hooked up with Chris Adams, you know, he did my first promo video. He did the logo for us, and you know, just different people. We all came together, and bam, hip hop detox. You know, we started doing national hip hop political conventions. Did the Regal Theater. Hooked up with Steve Harvey. I mean, just a lot of different people that we were able to just cross-pollinate with to really help us to become who we are. We're still growing. because detoxing is needed everywhere. So that's kind of how hip hop detox came into existence. When it came to like us hooking up, it was perfect because like the science of what we're talking about, in order to have a functioning government, you got to have at least 2 marriages that's functioning. Because that's the engine of government, is marriage. That's the engine of government. And the problem with us right now is in society that we don't have a government that looks out for us, is because we don't have fidelity in our marriages. We don't have really functional marriages. We have arrangements. We have relations, but we don't have relationships within a functioning marriage because we're not being taught the science of marriage. We're not being taught that. It's not being promoted or marketed. So you got to have more than lip service. You got to do more than just spit. You got to have God made manifest in flesh. And that's the process that we all about doing. And that's why 89+1 Hip Hop Detox, we all about, let's merge our activities and our efforts. Because one thing is that we think alike, but we don't do the damn thing together to make a baby. We don't want to be impotent. We got to go ahead and make something happen, and that's real. So that's why we came together, you know what I mean? But you never know. I might get him to talk me into, let me get on stage and pop lock or something, you know what I mean? I might do anything, you know what I'm saying?
Wake up in the morning, every morning gotta give it up to the one that made me incredible. I'm looking up at the throne with my eyes closed, see the whole globe controlled by the intangible. I see the cosmos, they Picasso's with a God stroke, God flow comes from amendable. Too many lows, that's why we get high as we can to make us